So Paul and I fasted from screens. We took about a week to go through to put down our personal devices, to try to break some habits, to try to start some healthier new screen habits as well. So maybe the first question on people's minds, Paul, is why would we do something like this?
Why would we do something like this?
Yeah, so tell us, why did we do this?
So we really wanted to do this because Plugged In is sort of in the process of creating their own screen fast program, right? We want people to come on board and to give up their screens for their personal use. We're not asking anybody to give up work or quit school.
Yeah,
or
don't quit your
like
job
that.
or anything like that.
Don't do that. But instead of going through Reels in the evening or going on TikTok, playing a video game.
YouTube black hole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, just sort of put away your phones and experience life kind of before screens became such a big deal, right? That was sort of the thing that we were really gunning for.
Yep.
We knew it was going to be hard. And in my experience, it definitely was.
Yes, and mine too. I think what surprised me the most was just noticing maybe more of the habits that I have built with, say, my phone, for example, right? Sitting on the couch at home, I've got my phone like right next to me on the couch, and the second that I need to kill some time, I'm reaching over almost unconsciously and I'm scrolling through Twitter, or I'm watching a video, or I'm doing something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. That was the thing that impressed me the most. You know, we talk about screens all the time here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
We say, oh, screen time is not, you need to get away from your phones a little bit more.
Right.
I did not realize kind of how much of a problem it was in my own life.
Sure.
Because when I started waking up during the screen fast, you know, I was grabbing for my phone to do my little, I look for the news. I need to do a little bit of language learning. I need to do all of these things that had sort of become part of my routine before I even got out of bed.
Right.
You know, and it was crazy how many times, how much I used my phone that I didn't even realize that I used it.
Yeah, and you know, I will say it is pretty interesting because you've seen a lot of research. We've looked at research for Plugged In. I'm sure some of the viewers have seen this too. All the benefits of maybe not being on a screen so much. But man, to feel that when you're actually doing, taking some time to fast from screens, it's pretty interesting.
It was crazy. I gotta say that, like, after dinner, you know, my wife and I tend to watch a show or play a video game or whatnot.
Right.
And it was sort of like dinner was done and we were thinking, okay, so now what?
What do we do?
Now what? And it was really just bizarre. So you know what we ended up doing?
Yeah, what's that?
We ended up playing a lot of board games.
Okay.
We ended up taking more walks in the evening, you know, and that was really the purpose of why we created this event in the first place. You know, the idea of not only asking you to give up something, but to get something in return.
Absolutely.
Because that's a really important part of this effort that we're doing.
Yeah, that's a key. It's replacing that time, right? The screen time maybe gets pushed back a little bit, but you're feeding in very positive interactions, pro-social interactions with other people. That's kind of the purpose behind this as well. So, my wife and I, you know, we enjoy kind of settling down in a similar way, like, hey, we'll put on a show or we'll play a game or do something along those lines. And so we just kind of did some of that, not the show piece, but we played card games or something, right? We just removed the tech from the equation, or we hung out, we had conversations, right? We talked. And it was very interesting. Now I want to hear what were some of the things that you did that maybe helped in the process. I know one of the things I did was I just put my phone in a different room. I turn on like the sound for notifications because, you know, if you're getting a text, we're not asking you to cut the people out in your life that you need to communicate with. But there can be a temptation of, oh, I got a text. I'll check the text. Oh, maybe I'll check email. Oh, maybe now I'm on YouTube. Maybe I'm doing some things like that. And then you get sucked into that vortex of the screen.
Totally.
So that was one thing that helped me. So I could go, if I heard the notification sound, I could go check it. I could put it down and then I could come back, leave it in a different room.
You know what? And I think that strategy actually would have helped me a ton. But the thing is, I would have needed to take it a step farther because I have this stupid well, not stupid. I really like it, but these, these cool smart watches.
Yeah, Paul has the watch.
I have the watch, right? And I use it for so many things. Right. I use it when I'm exercising. It's really important, but it also has all these notifications.
It's tied in with everything.
So even if I put away my phone, which I did, my watch is reminding me, oh, it's about time for you to do your French lesson, buddy. Right. So it would just keep reminding you, you know? And as the week sort of went along, about day 5 in there, I realized I should have taken off my watch too. I mean, and really in some ways, the thing that I drew from this is just how great, and I mean this truthfully, how great it would be to actually be able to put away your screens entirely for a certain amount of time. Yeah. Go up to the mountains, just actually spend time with nature, with family, with friends, and really get the phones and the watches and all those screens away. I think that would be really cleansing in a way.
Well, it's interesting because I've experienced some time where you're going up to the mountains, maybe visiting family, or you're going on a little trip or something. Like you're going to a place where you're essentially forced to be cut off from Wi-Fi and screens and stuff like that. So all of those experiences, for the most part, I have felt like, man, I've really enjoyed that. Yeah. Right. Just feeling disconnected in a positive sense, let's say. And yet, man, when I get back and the Wi-Fi comes back on, I'm back into the screen, right?
Isn't that crazy?
It is pretty crazy. So it was interesting for me to find out the longer this went, I would say, the less that I missed it. Yeah. I will say. I mean, there are certainly some things, oh man, I wish I could check that, or I wish I could watch that. Right. But for the most part, there were some things I was just very surprised that it's like, I haven't been like scrolling through Twitter for football news all week kind of a thing. I've avoided that. It's like, you know what? Life has gone on without me knowing, keeping up with the every minute type of updates that you can get right now. So I actually really kind of enjoyed that. So go ahead.
And I would concur with that. Yeah, because even as we've gone back to screens, I have found, I was just talking about my morning routine where I would have all like 15 things that I would do before I ever got out of bed. Yeah, that is gone now, and I don't miss it a bit. Nice. Nice. What I do in the morning now is instead of reaching for my phone, honestly, this is going to sound a little bit too holy, but I do reach, I reach for my Bible.
Oh, there you go.
And I pray. All right. That has become sort of my time to really focus in on God.
That's great.
Just to start the day. And that I think is really key, because when you are doing something like this, part of the purpose is not to just disconnect from your phone, but reconnect with the things and people who are really important to you, your friend, your family, but especially, I think, God. And for me, God enters into your life in a more tangible way when you have some quiet time. Yeah. And when we're dependent on our phones, we often don't like that quiet time. It's a noisy experience, both visually, auditorially, if that's a word.
Sure, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that. But
the dopamine hits that you're getting, everything like that. Yes.
You need that quiet time, I think, to hear the still small voice of God.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, because I think that, with everything that's at our fingertips now, it can just become such a habit to drown out the silence with whatever we want at any time, right? There's infinite amount of content out there that we could that we could fill that space with. And so it may be a little bit becoming of a lost art of sitting in silence, just in your own thoughts. That can be a little scary at times, right? It'd be like, oh, maybe I don't want to sit with my thoughts, right?
Well, and that's part of the thing.
That's part of the thing, right? But getting through that, there are some very positive moments throughout this screen fast that I did, where it was just like, I was able to read. I was able to kind of take a beat. I was able to just, and I felt, I think, a little less overwhelmed in some ways, because even though a lot of the stuff that I look on in the screens don't really matter or affect me super deeply in the grand scheme of things, it's just a lot of things to keep up with. So I think
it is just a lot of things.
I can choose to pile that on myself in some ways.
It's the noise.
It's the noise.
It's the digital noise that we expose ourselves to all the time. And it does, you can feel the weight of it.
Yeah.
And you don't feel it when you're putting it on yourself, when you're using your phone just normally, right?
You're just getting the dopamine hit and it's, oh, cool. You know, you're going through it. Yeah.
But when you give it up, that is one thing that I did find. You feel like there's a weight lifted off of you. Okay. Because I think that a lot of times, at least for me, a lot of these digital toys that we have, they become not just pastimes, but they become requirements. Where you feel like you need to do this for a certain amount of time.
Right.
This is what you do in your free time,
right?
Which becomes all of a sudden not very free because you're
you fill it up.
All of these things. And so when you push all that stuff away, then all of a sudden you really realize how freeing that can be.
Yes. So with that in mind, let's talk a little bit more about the Screen Fast specifically.
You bet.
Starting on March 7th through the 14th, that we're asking people to join us in taking a week, stepping away from personal screens. Again, we're not asking you to quit your job, quit school, because screens we know are interwoven within all of that process nowadays too. But what are you doing in your personal time? How can you take that time on the screen and devote it to some of the other things we've been talking about?
Well, and one of the things that I'm really super excited about, what we're doing with this Screen Fast journey, is we're giving you sort of a survival guide.
Yes.
You know, essentially where you can follow us. If you sign up with us, you can take it sort of day by day, and we will give you some tips, some ideas for how you and your family can spend the extra time that all of a sudden you have. We have thoughts about what to read, what to cook, what to do outside. We have all of that for you. So
board games, all sorts of stuff.
We're not going to leave you alone with this. We're not going to say just throw away your phones and be done with it.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you to just stare at the wall and watch paint dry,
because it's hard.
That makes it harder to give up a screen if you're not filling it in with something positive. And that's what we want people to take away from it, I think, is fill that time with something very positive.
That's absolutely right. So what is the website that people need to go to sign up?
Yep. So pluggedin.com/screen-fast-2025. We'll include a link in the description as well.
Yeah.
So we would love to have you participate in the Screen Fast for this year. Join us in that. Again, we'll have a link in the description. And if you like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be made aware of whenever we drop a video like this, not during the Screen Fast stuff. We'll be off our screens at this time.
That is very true.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.